Ah, there you go. And there's this Christmas tree kind of thingy in the background. No, it's not Christmas yet. It's not a real Christmas tree. Whatever. Hi, Mark Vergeer here with a video response on Long Boys Post 1975. Have you ever wanted to change your console after playing a certain game or upgrade your console or something like that? I'll put a real title below in the description, and I'll yeah, right. Anyways, that's it. Ever play a game that made you want to change your console? That's the tag, and this is my response to it. Yeah, and it was actually way back in the early 80s when I was perfectly happy playing all sorts of arcade ports on my Commodore 64. I mean, the 64 was a host to a lot of the old arcade ports. You've got a perfect Miss Pac-Man, two very great Donkey Kong ports, Dig Dug, you name it, it's on there. Ghost and Goblins, great ports, and perhaps not all as good as the original arcade, but some pretty damn fine ports, and also a lot of homebrew, and original games coming out. A strong, very strong software production in the UK, Germany. A lot of stuff was being made. I loved the SID chip, so I was perfectly happy playing my my Commodore 64 until over at a friend's place I played GBB Air Rally or something, and I may actually want to try to insert a video or a still from this game. It actually was running on the Amiga 500. It had some great stereo sound, and it ran off a 3.5 floppy disk, and it was just an amazing game with some 3D perspective. I think it was some sort of clone of Star Fox, because when I played Star Fox, kind of reminded me of that GB Air Rally or something. But yeah, I mean, that really made me want to change and upgrade my Commodore 64. But back then, it was still the early 80s. I didn't have a lot of funds. I was actually, I decided then and there, especially when I heard the stereo sound, I mean the music, the soundtrack of that. I remember on that disc, or that same day, I actually heard a lot of great tunes coming from the Amiga, and the kid actually hooked it up. Actually, it was an English kid. It was one of our neighborhood kids that actually his parents came to work and live in the Netherlands, and he hooked it up over on his very dinky stereo system. But that made that Amiga sound amazing. I did the same with my Commodore 64, and of course the SID really made an excellent sound over my stereo, my Pioneer stereo system, but component system. Yeah, I was mad enough to get that, but I ended up saving money for my Amiga 500. Actually had to work a lot to be able to save up for it. And I actually ended up not getting it, because I realized when I saved up the money, I could only spend so much more on games and discs. I couldn't even afford the empty 3.5 inch discs. I mean, I could afford blank 5.25 inch discs, a 10-pack, just white label discs. I could afford those and have some extra things lying around. Extra money lying around to do some, to buy a game or something, but I just couldn't afford the price increase on the Amiga, so I actually ended up buying a 1541 disk drive, sticking with the C64 a bit longer, and yeah, and just ended up not getting an Amiga until much later. MSX. I had access to an MSX1, and I was perfectly happy playing Gradius, playing Outrun, playing a lot of, was it Outrun? No, Outrun was MSX2. What was it? Eggerland. A lot of the MSX1 titles. I was perfectly happy playing them. That really looks like a Christmas tree, doesn't it? Well, it isn't. Well, I was perfectly happy, and then there was this game Spaceman Bow, and I just really needed an MSX2 system for that, and I ended up getting one. So that actually made me upgrade to an MSX2. I had a Famicom clone, and I was perfectly happy playing Mario, Gunnack. I mean, I had a Famicom with Gunnack back in the day. It was a pirate card. I still have the system. I actually borrowed a SNES with Super Mario and Super Mario Land on it, because the guy living next to me in the dorm, he wanted to play Gunnack on my Famicom. So I was without Gunnack for a bit, and I borrowed this SNES, and after borrowing some cards from other people, listening to the sound, it really made me think, well, that sound of the SNES, it really sounds pretty similar to the Amiga, and I just love the games. And yeah, I had this big honking Grundig TV in my bedroom, and I just hooked up the NES, and later I got a SNES to it, and it made me upgrade to an SNES. So what else? Well, just about any computer game actually that I play. I mean, I've been playing computer games, PC games, ever since the 80s. Every computer game made me want to upgrade. I mean, I did run with my PC XT for a long time. I think I got a 486 back in the day, a 486 SX25 with 4 megabytes of RAM, a 210 gigabyte hard drive, and without a sound card and without a CD-ROM. I got that machine for Windows and a word processor because I was writing my final, my thesis, I guess. Not my PhD thesis, but my master thesis. I was working my butt off. I was doing a lot of night shifts and stuff, and actually, I think within 3 weeks I got a DX2 chip, replaced that SX25 chip with it. I got a Sound Blaster card, a clone actually, with a Panasonic 602B or 605B or something, double speed cd-rom drive, only because of the game. It wasn't Wolfenstein, because it was that other game, Black something. It was another of these ID games that actually made me want to play, and of course Doom. Doom multiplayer with novel light networks cards. We actually made our own coaxial cable novel light network. We invested in buying terminators, T connection bits, and we actually made a novel light network, and we played Snipes, and we played Doom, multiplayer Doom in the student dorm. We didn't have any internet access, but we dialed up, and we had this privately created network where we would run Windows 3.11 with these cards. We actually beta tested Windows 95 actually because of me. I contacted Microsoft, and there was this release, this pre-release public thing, but we were actually before that. And that actually was because one of the guys, he was actually into software development. So both him and me, we actually ended up running Windows 95 pretty early on, and just an amazing. That whole PC thing. I mean, a lot of emulators, a lot of PC games. I mean, I was on this constant upgrade. I used to build PCs. I always had my own PC, my work PC. Later on, from a professor, I got a Macintosh computer. He got wind of the fact that my sister, she went to how do you say that, graphics design school, and she needed a Mac, and he had some spares. One of these crazy surgeons. He had a lot of LCs and stuff, and so I got his entire backlog inventory of old Macs, and I was running Mac for work. I did my work process and all the serious stuff I actually did on the Mac, old Macs, and I had a PC on the side for gaming, and I used to build and upgrade my PC. Actually, I always had two PCs up to a point. After my 486 DX2, I always had. I kept that, and I bought myself a Pentium. No, I upgraded to a DX400. Then I got a Pentium, but I kept the DX400. I sold the 486, and continued to upgrade my Pentium. Actually, I did a shuffle. I had a system that I was going to sell, and I would build another system. And I always had two systems, but I just kept on building PCs, pretty good gaming PCs, but pretty good components. And I kept on selling them. And I had, a lot of the kids in the dorm, the student housing, everybody was in need of PCs. So I just constantly was building PCs. I became quite proficient at it, and I knew all the codes. I was building Intel, I was building AMD. I knew all about local bus graphics cards, the Trident graphics cards, the 3D cards and stuff, and I kept that going well until I think the early 2000s, when I decided to pursue my current career. And I just, and at the same, late 90s, I guess, because back then I just started to realize that the PC upgrade cycle, back then, it was just never ending. I mean, the only way to sustain the hunger of these constantly forever, more demanding PC games was actually by investing in hardware, selling that before it got too old, and being able to buy some new stuff. That was the only way for me I was working my butt off, but that was the only way for me to actually sustain a PC gaming hobby. And I think when Gran Turismo came out on the PlayStation, that was some sort of turning point for me. Gran Turismo, Spyro, Gran Turismo 2, Ridge Racer. When I saw these games, and the adventure games of course, I saw them on the PlayStation. I could rent games, and I saw that the quality of the games pretty much was consistent. I mean, you didn't have the experience of a game not running well because your system was under spec. No, a game was bad or it was good, but it wasn't necessarily because your PlayStation wasn't configured properly. And it was actually, it turned out to be a lot cheaper to buy secondhand PlayStation disc or rent them for a while. The video stores, video rental stores, they used to rent PlayStation games all the time. I used to rent PlayStation games all the time for a weekend, playing with a friend, Castardo. Some people know him on YouTube here as well. I reconnected in those times, and we actually got chip PlayStations, and also were able to play backup copies. Actually, they were for import games mostly. But yeah, and I think after the PlayStation, I think I never had any specific game that made me want to upgrade necessarily. I think the Gran Turismo series. When the PlayStation 1 was discontinued and a new Gran Turismo would come out on the PlayStation 2, that was actually for me the reason to get a PlayStation 2. So must have games on consoles. That made me want to get a console, but I had more disposable income, so I think after my constant PC upgrading thing I did, I got a PlayStation, and after that I was pretty content with my PlayStation. But when the PlayStation 2 came out and the Dreamcast, I kind of diversified the Xbox, the original Xbox, and I just became a multi-platform gamer, system agnostic. I wasn't a fanboy. I just, if there was a certain game that was not available on the platforms that I owned, and it was good enough and there were more games, I would just get a platform. And I became somewhat of a collector of video game consoles, and for a long time I actually preferred console gaming. Actually, right up till the announcement of the last generation, the Xbox One, which of course isn't the original Xbox One, because the original Xbox is actually the Xbox One, the first, and the PlayStation 4, with the draconian licensing schemes that they threw our way. Sony being more timid about it, but they were just doing the same nasty stuff. Activation, digital downloads and stuff. That was actually what ruined it. I fell for the digital download trap. I've got a ton of Xbox Live games on the Xbox 360, and I actually have quite a few on the Wii and the Wii U as well. But I just don't like it, because in 20 years' time I won't be able to play those games. Sometimes I buy the game and I save them for a rainy day, because my life is pretty busy. So I won't be able to play these games, the moment I buy them. Some of them I save for a rainy day, and that rainy day may be a very horrible day in the future if my games will not run anymore. So, and I actually got back into PC gaming a bit more, because for some reason the hardware cycle and the hardware demands don't seem to go as fast as before, and I think that's because of the slowing down of the PC hardware market, which is a cool thing. It's a cool thing for gamers, because your gaming system will actually remain current for much longer, and you get a pretty decent gaming performance, even with mid-range graphics cards and stuff. So yeah, with the PS4 and the Xbox One coming out, like the Dutch say, I'm gonna watch the cat out of the tree. I'm not sure. I'm just gonna sit on my hands and wait for a bit, wait for that killer app. And if these systems function without internet, I'll probably end up buying one or two of them. But for now, there's no killer apps that I want for them. And you guys probably, if you know the guys on YouTube that will buy the systems if they show a nice game, and that's why YouTube videos without copyright strikes are so important. If some of my friends are playing games that I like, show them off, then that will probably make me want to buy one of these systems and play them. But for now, yeah, basically the games that are out for it, I won't buy a system. Well, this is my tangent, long-winded response. It's all over the place. Lawn Boys post 1975. If you don't know the guy, go subscribe. But probably you will. Link down below. Mark signing off. This is just my, just off the cuff rant. Not a rant video, just a vlog video response type of thing. And yeah, actually, the wife and I actually have been enjoying quite a cool series, and that's this, the Murdoch Mysteries, and we're watching the second season now. We're watching the first season, but very cool characters. I really like this a lot. Well, Mark signing off, and I'll be back with another video soon.